What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Urban Impact Show. I'm Rob Johnson.
I'm Dwana Bradley.
And we're excited because, man, it almost, without like the other two, it almost feels news broadcast.
It does. I feel like something pop up on the side of the screen and we're here today.
It feels real news broadcasting right now. Wow. Okay.
I know.
We are live from the studio in Windsor Heights, and if you would like to book this space, if you could see what I see right now, it's absolutely hilarious. If you would like to book this space for private bookings, please feel free to call 996-0326. Again, 515-996-0326. Thank you so much, and we're excited. It's been a eventful, grateful, good, sad, all of the above kind of weekend.
It has.
Unfortunately, another young man lost his life this weekend. And so we send our condolences to his family and friends. Especially, here in our community, we like to make sure we at least acknowledge that, we can't, being one of the black outlets in this community, we can't just bypass and act like, that didn't happen. So I wanted to address that right at the top to the young man and his family and his children. We definitely wish our condolences, and if there is anything that we can do here at the Urban Impact Show, please do not hesitate to reach out.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking about our friends too that were impacted by the events, and just let everyone know that we are thinking about you and we're here for you and for all people. This time of year, loss is never fun, but man, it stings during the holidays. It's just, I've experienced it for myself, and so losing someone during the holidays, it just does something different, And
I lost my mom right before Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving has never been the same, let me tell you.
You know what, I found out that your mom and the kid's dad, almost same day, different years, but almost to the same day. When you were sharing that, I was going to tell you that. So that happened to us. Yeah, and that happened to us during right before. Matter of fact, the day before Thanksgiving, I think we were. Yeah, that's why I think he's attracted to her. There, she's something there that's drawing him. So. Yeah,
he can't talk, but he sure know how to.
He knows how to look at her.
Follow her everywhere.
I keep his eye right on her everything. Yes.
And some other stuff that happened that I saw this weekend. The relationship coach, Derek, is it Derek Jackson? Is that his name?
Oh, I think that's his name.
Yeah. He. Some say he leveled up. Some say he left his wife. Some say it was a divorce. I don't know what it was, but either way, he's with another woman. And after that whole ordeal, I don't know if y'all remember, but he was, it was so many, I don't mean to laugh, but it was so many comedy skits about him sitting there with his wife talking about the infidelity. And then
I can only imagine.
And then and then to see a picture of him posted with another woman and then his wife. It's crazy, but...
So is he going to still keep giving us relationship advice, I guess?
I'm just
wondering.
I low-key think he's qualified.
I'm not nothing
he knows
against
what's working and what's not working,
I have nothing against him. I don't normally watch people like that for relationship advice anyway.
Giving low vibrations.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I don't do all that, so, it is.
Yeah, that is too funny. So what happened on your side?
Let's see what's been going on in the world. Oh, I'm in fine. To all the college students out there, I just want to tell you right now, I feel your pain right now. Everyone's getting ready for their finals. I'm telling you what, I finished my last class of my first semester in my doctoral program yesterday, but I've got a major paper due next Friday, 10 to 12 pages on my first mini qualitative research project that I did. And I'm just saying all of this to say, I feel y'all's pain. This time of year right now.
Qualitative.
Qualitative. Not quantitative yet. I get to that class in a few months, but this one is qualitative. And then next semester I take advanced qualitative and then quantitative. So it's all moving along, but I say all that to say, my daughter, she's here in the studios with us. I'm looking at her and all the college students, I'm thinking about y'all this week because you're putting in tons of work to get that final, to enjoy your holidays. And so my thoughts are with y'all.
And those non-traditional students with kids and regular jobs,
Yes.
and, doing that stuff, doing that other stuff, like, ooh-wee, that's
It's
a
not
lot.
easy. I was one of those. I
Yeah.
did that in college. I had my daughter, and I would take her to class with me, do the final, stay up late at night to make sure. So like all that stuff, been there, done that. So shout out to the non-traditional students, the traditional students, all of y'all, thinking about you.
Speaking of, in the next 2023, in August of 2023, my family, we're working on it now. My family's going to be coming out with the Johnny's Deborah Johnson Scholarship Fund for a single mom that is going back to college, whether
that's
she's
wonderful.
in community college or. It won't be like a lot. It'll be mostly there to really kind of cover books and expenses and things like that. But we had been thinking about this for a while because my mom was really big on education too. But she would have loved Nautica, let me tell you.
Yeah.
And with Eli, boy, she'd be right here in the studio being grandma.
Yep.
You hear me? So, well, that's a wrap for what we had going on this weekend. We'll be right back with our first guest coming up. Now, we're still talking about reading.
Talking a little bit about reading, a little bit about, we've got a guest coming on that's going to talk about the future of Iowa. So we're just got a few different things going on. It's going to be 2 totally different topics today so that we're going to see. Yeah. But we're still pushing the reading and learning about the library. There's so much that the library offers here in our own city that I think gets bypassed. So we want to share that information to you today. Give you something to do during the holidays.
Yeah, and I have a library card, so
I do too.
It'll be good to finally really put it to use because I don't use it. Like it's
a great place. You should be taking Eli. They do so many activities. So you'll learn more with our next guest about that.
Well, that's what we're gonna do.
All right.
Go ahead, press that share button. You're watching the Urban Impact Show, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Urban Impact Show, where I am a future or former literacy teacher. So this segment is really special for me because I love reading. I think our kids should be reading and they should do things more. So our guest today here at the Urban Impact Show is Ashley Molson, works at the Central Library location. Is that correct?
I do right now.
All right, I'm going to give you just a little bit of background information on Ashley, just a little bit. She earned her undergraduate degrees in anthropology and international studies with a minor in Spanish from the University of Iowa and her master's in library and information science from Drexel University. She's a proud mom of 2 sons, Kai, age 15, and Tay, age 12. She's worked for the Des Moines Public Library for 15 years in teen and adult services as well as management positions. In her current role as community engagement supervisor, Ashley works with programming librarians throughout the system, as well as overseeing the library's dedicated Rosie Reader outreach services, which we'll talk about that, and Simple Steps Early Literacy Initiative. Please welcome Ashley to the Urban Impact Show. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, now I got through it. So I just want to say that my first opportunity to work with Ashley was we did systemic oppression in our schools.
Yeah.
And I was blessed enough to be a moderator for that. We had a great turnout, I thought, for that. I still have people asking, like, when's the next one we're going to do? Just so you know, I'm like, they want to know when the next one's going to happen. And I'm like, we'll get there. We'll see. So,
Well, and since you mentioned, that's the traveling exhibit from the African American Museum of Iowa. So it's at Johnston right now. It'll be in Johnston for the next few months, and then it'll come back to Des Moines.
Johnston Public Library, you can check out that from the African American Museum. That's where it's at right now, right?
In January.
In January.
Yeah,
okay.
Johnston Parents for Equity and Anti-Racism. Luana.
Yep.
Yep, they've got it for the next month. They'll be using it for some listening sessions, and then it'll move to the public library in Johnston, and then come back to Des Moines.
All right. Well, talk to us a little bit.
What can we do to bring it here to the show?
Well, it is 3 8-foot panels. So
I think we can fit it.
We could fit it in here.
It could be our background.
Yeah.
We could also see about putting it in a space that might work.
It'll be back to us the second week in March.
Okay.
And then after that,
It'll be with you the second week of March. Maybe we do a show over at y'all's
I would
place
love
in the
that.
second.
Maybe we do it over there.
Yeah, that's what
where
I'm
it
saying.
is.
We go to the show and just do a show there. Okay, we'll talk to you more about that, Ashley. Yeah.
let's keep
First
that
of all, I
going.
grabbed this book because I have a little black boy, and children change you.
Yes, they
Let me
do.
tell
Yes,
you,
they
man. Whew, let me tell you, I just got chills thinking about it. Children change you, and you start doing, like, even today, I went to order some food. So, full disclosure, I went to Subway to order some food, and then I realized that little baby wouldn't be able to eat anything off of what I was getting ready to order. So I had to go order some stuff that I did not want because I knew that he was going to have to eat off of
picky
my
eater?
plate. He's not necessarily a picky eater. He'll take it and spit it out.
Oh.
but-
So my oldest is a picky eater.
Really?
But look, they do make parenting books for all ages. This is my current one. I'm about to be living with 2 teens, so this is what I'm currently reading.
Well, I'm looking forward. I may have to read that now so that I am
You need
prepared.
to be prepared. Yeah, try to prepare yourself.
Got a lot of stages before them, but yes.
I think you were pretty blessed with the girl. You know, it's the boy that I think we're all. You know, the sports in him is.
Yeah, them boy, I'm telling you right now, just go ahead and let them get that driver's license, that school permit. Because I tell you right now, I love my son, but he knows he had to drive himself. Because
He was
all
doing
that extra
everything.
activity.
It's a lot.
Mm-mm.
That is a lot, yes.
Really good kids. Though,
Thank you. No, I've been blessed.
Yeah.
Love my kids. Yes.
So these types of books are available at the library.
Yes.
You need a library card to check them out.
You do need a library card, but library cards are very accessible. So free.
To only check them out, though. You don't
Correct.
need a library card to go and grab one and sit there. correct?
Absolutely. And bring your kids in too. Because a
Yes.
lot of times if people didn't grow up going to the library, they'll say things like, well, how long can I stay there with my kids? Or what age do I need it? You know, what age can my kids be? And really the library is for everybody. So you could bring your kids in to spend a whole winter afternoon. In fact, as the winter's changing, it's a really, really great place to come and just spend some time. Yes, you can walk out with free books if you have a library card with us. But there's a lot of programs you do not need an account, nor do the kids need an account to attend our free programs. to read the books and just be in the library. No account necessary. You don't need to tell us who you are or why you're there. But if you do want to take books home with you for 3 weeks, then you do need to get a free library card, which is pretty accessible.
Real quick before I jump back to Dewana, I want to, so, in this world that we live in, Gracie's Corner, Jules TV, Coco Melon, they have really kind of taken the place of books when you look at what's happening in the world. When you say bring the kid in, there is no Coco Melon. There are no Gracie's Corner, no Jules TV there. What do they, give us something, that's going to keep these kids occupied besides the books?
Well, I don't know that they've taken the place of books. I think they're an option along with books. And I believe when I came in, we're the 2 kids in this studio. The first thing they said is, "What's in your wagon? What do you have?" And sat down with a book, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, they did.
So I don't think it takes much more than a great book to hook a kid, really, and access. So does the book that is in front of them, does that look like something they want to pick up? A book like Don't Push the Button, immediately, what does that kid want to do?
Push the button.
Push the button. Of course they do. And in this book, there's an actual literal button. These are called Vox books, and so this book will read itself to the kids. So if they're not old enough to read yet, or a lot of our library patrons too, they just didn't grow up reading, or maybe it's a language, where English isn't their first language. So these are really great books for all families and ages. And we do have quite a good collection in Spanish too. So if you wanted to expose your kid to Spanish, for example, but you weren't proficient in reading in Spanish, that would be a way to get those books too. So yeah, I don't know that we're competing with anything. I think that books have a special place and role. It's really important that all ages and that family members model reading because everybody is a reader. Whether you're reading articles online or you're reading a recipe or you're sharing updates with family, reading is a part of every one of those interactions. So when people say things like, "I'm not a reader," or "I didn't have great experiences," that's really unfortunate. Because it really is that foundation and the building block for everything else you're going to experience in life. And people who genuinely have difficulties reading or are not proficient readers will tell you how difficult it is to navigate our world without that skill. So there's the expansion that can happen with creative worlds and kind of escapism reading, but really reading is fundamental to everything that we want to navigate in life, from filling out applications to driving directions. We really cannot be fully functioning adults in our society without that ability.
Yeah, you got to read. Well, I know that there's so much that happens at the library. I think the one thing that I enjoyed being a teacher was the summer reading program that you would have for our young people. So even though they were leaving the school, they still had an opportunity to be reading. Can you talk a little bit about that? And then maybe some other programs that you'd like to highlight as well.
And thank you for saying that because, those out of school months, whether it's spring break week or summer, all of summer, it's really important for kids. And research has shown that kids from lower socioeconomic backgrounds, really the damage happens more to kids from those lack of moments in school. So when we have those enrichment opportunities, camps they can go to, programs or access to books and things that kind of expand and keep kids engaged with learning, that's where we start to see those discrepancies in what they call that, the summer reading slide. Or the summer slide where kids are not in school. So as soon as school gets out, we start our summer reading program. And it's really kind of twofold. It's an opportunity for kids to track the amount of reading time that they're doing, but knowing that we have kids for a variety of reasons who won't read or are not developmentally able to read, that we also include literacy-based activities. So it's a combination of literacy-based activities and reading, and then they're for registering. One of the most important things we can do is put books in our home. So every kid who registers for the program gets a free book to take home. And those, we get really high interest books. We want kids to look at that and say, "Oh, I want to touch it, I want to keep it."
Exactly.
So last summer we gave out over 8,000 books to kids in the community.
Wow,
Thank you. And then we do something called early access too, and we've worked with Des Moines Public Schools on that. So kids that are in classrooms that have high percentages of at-risk reading scores, who are geographically further away from our public libraries, we get into those schools and we get those kids registered for summer reading, and the free book goes home with them before they ever leave school in May.
That's great.
We're giving away free gas in January, and maybe you guys should bring some books to give to the cars as people pull up. We can we can hand them a book as we pump the gas, and then because how it works is so I read to Eli and his brother Isaiah. I read to both of them because they like to grab the book and then like bring it over to you. It was so funny because one of Eli's, I call her like an auntie to him, Deidre DeGier, she was seated and he grabbed the book and instantly took it to her for her to like read it to him. And it was so funny because she just instantly like kicks into auntie mode, right? We're in the middle of a conversation and this book kicks her into auntie mode and she's completely distracted from our conversation. At this point, right, she's talking to him and reading to him, and she's even getting, what I love about what books bring out is the excitement or the emotion of the book. How, like when you're reading to a kid, like she was like, and the bunny goes, right? And so it was kind of funny because I'm like, there was two ways you could read this, and the bunny goes, or you could like, animate it a little bit. And
thank you for touching on that.
That was so cool.
You know, sometimes parents come in and they say, I need books to help my kids read. And I think there's a misconception that when kids are learning to read, they need just that print awareness and sounding out the words, but really the best thing we can do, educators can educate our children on how to read. That's really what their skill set is, even for librarians, teachers teach reading. Yeah. But one of the best things caregivers can do, librarians can do, is just connect kids with books that they're excited about. Yeah. They do not want to learn to read if the book in front of them is not something they're interested in. And actually it can be kind of detrimental too, because they start to associate reading with something they dislike. Yeah. So if a kid is, you're trying to get your kid into reading or you want to model reading, make sure you find stuff you enjoy. No one's asking you to slog through a classic if that's not what you're interested in. But is there for my kids, it was nonfiction. It was, they were so into those Lego minifigures that when I got the Lego minifigure, the visual encyclopedia, they spent hours and then they wanted to read about all the little facts about these figures. So really, when we're wanting to encourage kids to read, it's reading the book they picked up. It's making sure they can come to the library and choose the book, even if it's the one that you're kind of like, again, or I didn't really want that. You can present books that you like to kids too and share that experience with them, that moment of bonding and cuddling and that shared excitement. Yeah. But one of the best things we can do is just connect kids with books that they get excited about, because that will channel that motivation, that intrinsic motivation to keep reading and learning. And that has those long-term educational impacts.
I would just like to say, too, I know we talk about the kids and having books for them. We've got books there, of course, for adults as well that you can read and enjoy. And I would like to say this, too, because as a person who, I do business, but I don't have a office space per se, and I need some quiet time, I'm also able to come down to the library and get me a room. Yes. Because I have that library card, I can take a few hours and sit and get work done or study or do something. So for the adults, you need that private room, or for the college student, you need that space to study. They have rooms for you at the library.
You know what? That's it. Thank you. You guys are doing a great job of bringing in other things the library do. There's two more that I think people kind of don't realize the library has. One is adventure passes. So as we're talking about breaks from school or how to fill those winter months, with a free library card, you do need to have a Des Moines library card. You can borrow a pass to Brenton ice skating, you can go to the botanical garden, you can go to the science center, and you can go to the zoo. Maybe not in the winter months, but right. But those passes are free and they're good for 2 adults and 2 kids. So even with your free library card, you have access to things beyond the library. And then the other one that I wanted to highlight is we have public notaries at every library. Wow. And not everybody knows that. And a lot of times if you don't bank with an institution, they'll charge you for that service, but our notary services are free. So I think that's another good one to think about too. We've got the printing, the faxing, the notary. So really, as you were saying, if you kind of have a small business or something like that, the library has resources to support the work that you're doing too.
Right, and you have food.
That's right, 2 of our libraries.
Yes, they have food. I only know this because I was at the Franklin Library, and as I was walking out, I'm like, that's food from Hy-Vee in the cooler, and I'm like, the community fridge, yeah. So I go walk a little closer, and I'm like, and then there's bread, and there's this. So there's also food for those who need food at a couple of the libraries here in our city.
That's right.
Wow. Well.
And we didn't get into programs. Can I highlight just a couple?
No. Go ahead and highlight a couple programs.
If I did not.
No, please, because we did ask about that.
So great materials, great services outside of the scope of books, but also programs. And the purpose of our programs, and we do this for all ages, story times for babies before they're even able to hold a book themselves, up through seniors. Programs that are really topically geared towards seniors. So if I can just mention a few.
Yeah, please do.
On Thursday, the 15th, at the Forest Library, there is going to be gingerbread story times for the whole family. So that's just, and that's in the evening, because I think a lot of our story times do fall in the morning. So the evening story time is a great time to just bring the whole family,
Right.
so you don't just have to, single out the younger kids. East and Central Libraries are hosting and I'm going to say very New Year's Eve party. So those are for kids. So the countdown happens
Right.
to noon.
Okay.
So that way the little ones aren't up
that's
too late.
cute.
So it's a New Year's.
That is cute.
And then, sometimes getting to our programs at a specific time, conflicts with work schedules or nap schedules, whatever it might be. And so a lot of our libraries do a really great job, all of them. All of our libraries do a really great job of having passive activities out for
Right.
kids. So scavenger hunts, or the Forest Library, for example, has what they call Maker Day challenges, and those are always STEM-based. So you can come in anytime during the day, and there will be a challenge in all the materials you need for self-guided challenges that are STEM-based. And then there are Famous Iowan Scavenger Hunt at Forest Library, Winter Tracks Scavenger Hunt at Central, and Winter Wonderland Scavenger Hunt at South. So those are good opportunities. There's a prize, so the kids get excited, but it's really a good opportunity for us to get to know the kids, the ones who may be too shy to ask where a book is or to even tell us what they are interested in.
Yeah.
So it helps us get to know people who are coming in the library too. And for teens.
Yes.
So we've got manga design, which is online through Procreate. I can't say much more about that. And then School of Beats are both programs over at Forest. But all of our libraries also do a Valentines program. So a lot of kids, National Honor Society, Silver Cord, they need a place in the community to volunteer, and our libraries serve as a very safe space for kids to come in and volunteer.
Oh, that's good.
So sometimes it's a coordinated, the kids get together in the same time and place and do a project together. Other times it can be on their schedule. That depends on the branch's capacity.
Okay.
But they'll help us prepare the program materials for the younger kids. They help us keep the collections clean and in order. But it's a really great opportunity for kids too to see that libraries are more than books, that they really are community institutions.
Oh, that's great.
So there's that opportunity for teens. And then for adults, I wanted to highlight just a couple. The Northside Library has Typing Club. So that helps get people more familiarized with keyboards and increasing typing skills so they can go on to do things like resume creation and job applications online.
Yeah.
And the Southside Library on the 13th is going to have, and this is at 2 o'clock, Understanding Alzheimer's and Dementia.
Oh, okay.
So that would be another opportunity. A lot of our families have members who have Alzheimer's and dementia. And so a time to meet people who maybe are experiencing something similar, but also to learn about community resources. Okay, I think I've covered the programs I wanted to.
No, those
One
are
thing I
great
want to say
programs.
before we close out.
This has all the programs also at the libraries and online. So you can pick up a catalog or you can go online to check out more programs.
Is it called
Perfect.
Engage?
Engage. Yes.
thank you.
Engage.
So if somebody wanted to, let's say Dewana and I wanted to bring a program to the library, right? Let's say we wanted to talk about Juneteenth from a certain day to a certain day, and we wanted to.
I'm
you
winking
know,
at her
how
because you
do-
did in this year.
How would one go about setting that up with the library?
Well,
I'm just using it as an example. Right?
It is. Well, it's a great example
great
because Dewana
example.
hosted Juneteenth story times with us, and
Yeah.
she hosted some, history of Juneteenth for
Yeah.
adults. And that's a great question because we serve as a couple of roles. One, when we're doing programs on Alzheimer's and dementia, that's not our staff's expertise. We work with community partners all the time. Financial Empowerment Center, under DMAC and Evelyn K. Davis umbrella, they came and did some financial literacy, how to start a small business. So for anybody who might want to do a program in the library, I'm a good place to start.
Yes.
If you know you have a specific location that you want to work with, you can reach out directly to that branch manager. But if you're not sure, you think this has potential at a few different branches even, I'm a good person to start with because I will be able to tell you very quickly whether it's me as your point of contact or who in the system is the best person for you to connect with.
Okay. I have some ideas.
All right.
Our nothing against everybody else, but our black boys are really struggling. And I think taking a few field trips to the library may help with what's happening right now and getting them, and if they see somebody that they look like, doing something maybe with their child and encouraging them to come join in with that. I think there's some some stuff there. So I'm so glad you came.
Yes.
to
Well,
this
I'm
show
so glad
today.
you guys invited. And you know, we
Yeah.
just got, the city has set aside $1 million.
Yes. Yep.
So we'll be hiring some additional outreach librarians with a pre and early literacy focus.
Yeah.
And really that money is meant to go into who in the community is already doing literacy-based initiatives. How can the library help connect so that these are sustainable
Yeah.
and long-term initiatives coming out of Des Moines?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, you know, people are already doing the work, but maybe they're chasing grants or they don't have the infrastructure. The library's been around for 150 years and we're not going anywhere.
That's
you know,
right.
how can we support some of the
Yeah.
you know, kind of grassroots and more localized initiatives too?
Yeah.
Am I talking too much?
No, you're fine.
You're doing great. No, this is,
You actually have been, for as nervous as you were coming on here, you
did an amazing job. Like
Great
you're a
job.
pro at this. You did great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nervous for what?
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, here, and I'm glad you also mentioned, you know, coming in and seeing people that look like you because representation for kids is so important. And it's not always easy to find it in books. You know, I don't know what it looks like in 2022, but in 2018, if you went out to a picture book bin just based on what's coming out of publishers, 50% of the books you picked up will feature white families. And then the next highest category is going to be some of your like vegetables, you know, vehicles that are, you know, the characters. And as you get further and further down, you know, I don't want to speak off the cuff here and I don't know the number, but it's a much smaller percentage
Right.
that feature African American families or Latinx families, you know, so if you're coming into the library, number one, I hope each of our displays, and this is what we strive for, if a display is on STEM, you know, whatever it might be that we're displaying, there should be intersectionality in that display.
Yeah.
So you should have female authors, you should have
Right.
male authors, and you should have different races and perspectives within that STEM umbrella. So you should be able to find materials on our displays
That's dope.
regardless.
Yeah.
But if you really are saying, I have a very targeted, I have a black son, you know, and I want books that represent him.
Yeah.
That's what librarians are there to do. We
That's
will
how,
help you
that's how
find
I
the books
was
that.
on YouTube looking for representation.
Yeah.
And, man. Well, hey, you've done a great job.
Yeah, this has been
Thank you
great.
so much
Thank
for
you.
Thank you for
coming on.
having me.
Yeah.
And I believe our show exists for moments like this, where we can truly educate our viewers and the public who may not get this information. Because let's face it, a lot of times people say, "Oh, well, we advertised it," or "Oh, we put it out there."
Yeah.
But if you don't come to spaces and meet
talk
people
about it.
where they
Yeah.
are, you know, then
don't
that specific audience still may not have seen that you put it out there, right?
That's
And
right.
so I appreciate
Absolutely.
you all taking that time and effort to come meet people where they are.
Can I also say to that? So I think libraries are often people. It's books. It's people who love reading, and it is. You know, I
Right.
can't say most staff there don't love books and reading.
Right.
But
Oh my God.
there's something in that degree too that I want to highlight. It's library and information science. It's when we go to school. It's how do people connect with information? And so what you just touched on. How do people seek out information and where are they connecting? That's an important part of our job because mainstream marketing does not always connect with the audience you're trying to connect with. So thank you. You had some great questions, leading us right down the right path here.
This was good. This was
That was
really, really
good.
good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with the Urban Impact Show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Urban Impact Show. I'm not gonna lie. When you think about bringing on a library guest, you're thinking, this is gonna be boring, right? You're thinking, this is gonna be a little stuffy up in here. We're gonna try to make this entertaining, right? That was pretty good.
I seen the look on your face. I knew you probably thought, like, where are we going with this? But I watched your face. She was a great guest.
She showed out
Yeah, she did.
for the library.
Yes.
Y'all better keep her. Y'all better. And if you hear baby noises, that's just the young prince in the back doing what 1-year-olds do. So
Yes.
don't feel excited about it.
Right.
He's just doing what he does.
Right.
But I'm excited about this guest that we have. I feel like at this point, Dr. Ford is no longer a guest on the show. He's
No.
more of a correspondent.
Right. He comes on
Like,
every so often.
He comes on to give us. It's almost like a monthly thing, right?
Yeah.
Like he comes on to give us the Wayne Ford thoughts.
Right.
Right? And then we leave.
Yeah.
We leave with what's imparted on us from him. So
Exactly.
He doesn't need an introduction, but I'm gonna just turn it over and let him.
Yeah, no,
Dr.
I
Ford,
mean,
go ahead, talk. Tell us what you think.
Like here, so we asked you to come because here's the thing. We had a KO on a few
Yes,
weeks
we
ago
did. Okay.
where we had him just talk about, we all know what's happened. The elections are done. We know where we're at.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to have both of you on at the same time. I know that didn't work, but you're here now. Talk to us a little bit about reactions, where we're going, how do we combat this? Just talk a little bit about that.
Well, I'm very happy to say that this last election, we had more minorities who ran for office than any time in the state's history. Now, I've been here since 1972. Now, I got some people still researching it because this is hard work. But the bottom line is, we have more minorities who ran for office in this last election throughout the state, whether it was county elections, school boards, whatever. Even I ran for office. We had more minorities running for office than any time in the state's history. Now, I'm from Chocolate City, so I kind of grew up in a black environment, although D.C., you can't, no taxation, not representation, I got that. But still, everybody was black, and we had black elected officials. But to be in Iowa for all these years and to see how when I came here, and I played football in 1970s, and to see how we have come this far with more minorities and winning. The key word is winning. And we just had Dietrich, who ran for governor, the first black in the history of Iowa. After we all dead and gone, it's the history book that will talk about what you have done. Nobody lives forever. And I think this last election set the ground for young people like yo. Because when I was on Capitol Hill, there was only one black person, 150 people and one black guy, and that was me. Everybody couldn't handle that, to be candid. But I was blessed to handle that because I went to an all-white school in Rochester that got me ready to come to Drake. I had the right scenario. But now, that was then, this is now. So I'm happy for you all that your children and grandchildren will say, you know what, that was a long time ago. Things change. And the year it changed was in 2022. Want to thank you all on your 100th, you all did your 100th show, right?
Yes, we do.
How far was it? You know I don't miss nothing. What the last?
Last week.
Thank you,
Yeah,
thank
last
you.
week.
Hey, Doc, the medication is working. I told you I ain't gonna forget that. So the bottom line is that they did the 100 shows. 100 shows. And there's some of the reasons why. Your blog, your show is some of the reasons why people are voting, people are interested, because y'all got, you bring it, but you bring it with some swag. I'm gonna say it again, you bring it with some swag, and you kind of go back and forth, and you have humor, and you have reality. So it's so beautiful how y'all do. So give yourself some credit. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give you. Yes, come on, 100 shows. You don't think you already up increased the voter participation in the state of Iowa? Yes, you did. Here's the good part. Now we got a black in the senator, Isaiah Knox, won his election. I know a little bit about Isaiah Knox. I passed the baton on to him many years ago. He ran for office and he won. He's the only senator, only black person that's going to be in the Senate. Then you have seven minorities in the House. That's a total of 8 people.
Right.
8 or 7, bear with me, but it's still never before in the history. When I was there, we was 1. So and I served from 1996 to 2010. So from 1996 to 2022, we have gone from 1 to 7 or 8. You can't make that up in the 5th whitest state in America. Wow. So again, I just want to let y'all know it's some hard work because we got some difficult days ahead. As you all know, we got super majorities in both houses almost. In the Senate, you got a super majority. In the House, you almost got a super majority. I know about super majorities because when I was Representative Ford back in the 1990s, I was only black on Capitol Hill,
right.
And I was in the minority part. So the bottom line is, all I had to do was do amendments. I did amendments, I did amendments, I did amendments. I was called the Amendment King, and I got many amendments passed, and I was the only black guy up there. So if I had an army of 7 other people that I could help train, I was by myself. Man, we'd have kicked a lot of behind up there, to be candid. But I was by myself.
Behind or?
Well, you can call it what you want. I don't know how you want to say it. But I said, I played defensive line, so I was a tackle. So I tackled everybody in the way. But the bottom line is that I was blessed to do it by myself. But if I had an army of other people, of minorities, we could have done more. But that was then. That was back then, this is now. So I want to thank you all, and I'm just very excited about it. Now, the bottom line is, when you judge them, because now I'm going to look at you all, every year I came off of Capitol Hill, I got slapped in the face. Wayne, you didn't do this way. Wayne, you didn't do that. People, hold people accountable. If not, then you are wasting your time. Everybody holds Wayne Ford accountable. Every time Wayne Ford do something wrong, it's in the media. For the last, Google it. You can Google it. You're going to see some bad things. My God, he did that. No, I did not. But every time, so you all must hold, and you got the Chicago swag, so I know how they're going to treat you the same way they treat me. Get ready. But the bottom line is this, is that was then, this is now, but y'all got to hold people accountable. The media has to hold people accountable. When I did 1970, y'all was somewhere in high school. So you got to understand that.
I wasn't born.
So you got to hold people accountable. I'll be quiet. Those are my open remarks, as the former representative would say.
Hey, I love it. You know what? And I think what I'm hearing you say is that, while things might not have gone our way, look how far we've come. We went from one person sitting up there at the state capitol
In 1996.
right, and
Not the 60s. Let's
right, exactly.
That's not the 1960s.
Right.
Almost so.
We're talking about 90s R&B,
Right.
hip
That's right.
hop,
That's right.
rap,
That's right.
one black person,
Right.
That's right.
representing one district,
Right.
in the entire state
Right.
of Iowa.
Yeah. And now
99 counties.
Exactly. Now we've made some movement.
Yes, you
now
have.
granted,
Yes.
that saying that always says like it just takes time.
Yes.
I know we don't like to hear those words because we're like, well, it should happen just right now.
Yes.
It does take time, but
Yes,
we're
it
not
does.
still talking about one.
Right.
Now we'd be in a really bad place, I guess, if we were still talking about
You would
one
be.
person
You would be. Yeah,
representing the whole state of Iowa.
Yes,
So
yes.
we are moving the needle forward.
Yes,
and so
yes.
for that,
Yes.
that's probably a perspective. I don't know about you, Rob. I didn't even think of it in those terms. I'm more looking like people still need to do more. I still think people need to do more, though.
I want to get Dr. Ford's thoughts on this. The first black, not just woman or man, just the first black person to run for governor.
Yeah, that's right.
Like,
with Detroit, that's right.
How did you feel seeing this unfold, and then also to see the support or non-support that she received, putting her neck out there to be governor? Like, what kind of drove you during that piece?
Good question. And Detroit would tell you this. Me and her had some candid conversations. I mean,
Yeah.
I served 14 years. Who better know Capitol Hill than Wayne Ford? I was the only black up there. So I gave her my candid opinion when she ran, and I gave her my opinion when she ran for Secretary of State.
Yeah.
So when you come to politics, there is nothing. Either you do or you don't. The major thing is to win.
Yeah.
And so I told her what she would be up against if she didn't go for Secretary of State again. If she goes for a high office, which is her right.
Yeah.
But I told her straight up.
Yeah.
What she'd be up against. And she looked me dead in the eyes and said, I understand that, Representative Ford, but I feel like it's my duty, it's what I feel inside. And I know a little bit about that. When I ran, come on. I mean, look what the odds against me.
Yeah.
And remember, I got the DC swag. I made my reputation on helping blacks in the hood. I've been accused for everything from robbing to selling dope to running prostitution throughout my situation. People know my reputation. None of it was true, but I was accused of it. Come on, keep me. How am I gonna be Representative Ford if I did all that? But I had to go through all of that. So I know what it's going to be. And by her being a woman and by her already running for Secretary of State. But what I liked was she looked me dead in the eyes and said, I got that and I understand that. But I believe for those coming behind me, I got to show no fear. And that was so beautiful because her legacy is just beginning. And her greatness is forthcoming. When I say the best is yet to come, her best is yet to come.
Yeah, she's only
Stay tuned.
She's only
Right,
36
exactly.
years old.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. I'm 70, so I think you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So again, stay tuned.
Yeah. Well, I just want to bring up really quick for those who might not know, I got this information today that there is some federal legislation happening in Washington, D.C. that has to do with you. Can you just tell people a little bit about what's coming up?
Thank you so much. Then, 2008, we were number one in the country for black incarceration in the state of Iowa. Yeah. So I said, D.C. was number two. So I know about D.C. I used to rob people at 13. So I know why D.C. was so highly incarcerated because, hey, it's a black city. I turned my life around and that was history. But hey, I was one of those juvenile delinquents. They said Iowa was number one. I went and confronted the people at the Sentencing Project, called the director outright liar in his face. I said, you playing games. He didn't know you had a black legislator in Iowa. He didn't know that was me. He didn't know I'm from Washington, D.C. You can't make this up, Rob. But I had a perfect storm. So if you're lying, I'm going to call you out. Right. If you tell the truth, I'm going to accept it, but I'm going to come back and say, what can I do about it? He showed me the facts. We were number one for the incarceration all across it. The fifth whitest state was locking up more blacks inbounds in the country. That was in 2008. I asked him another question. What can I do about it? He said, Wayne, there's something called the Racial Impact Statement legislation. All it is, before the governor signed the bill, a governor would know how many blacks are going to jail, how many Native Americans are going to jail, how many Latinos. He or she can sign the bill, but they can't say they don't know. Yes. Right. That's just that simple. So I did the bill. We were the first state in America to pass that bill in 2009. Since that time, love this. Where the camera? I get so excited about this. Right there. Okay, where's the camera? Since that time, 2008, 70% of all the states in America had tried to do what we did here in Iowa. I said 70%, including Hawaii and all the other states. Only 11 states have done it, Washington, D.C., and 10 other states have done what we did in some form or fashion. But the majority of America has tried to copy what we did here in Iowa. You make all those we too white jokes. The country is copying what we done here. Because when we say it was too many people being locked up, Representative Ford did something about it. And because of that, Representative Richie Torres out of New York, he heard about it, called me, we had a dialogue. He said, Representative Ford, I'm going to introduce this legislation at the federal level, and I'm going to put your name on it because of what you've done. I went to New York to see him. I'm from old school. I got to look at a man in his eyes. You put my name on, I want to look at your eyes. So I went to New York, had a candidate meeting with him. I looked at his eyes, and the rest is history. You can look it up. Wayne Ford, federal legislation bill, Act of 2022, racial impact statement. You can just put in there, Google it, it's gonna pop up. Now for those you out there who question me, for those you out there who question, how can this guy who was the least voted to succeed in life in high school, how can he come back to his hometown with federal legislation? These people know why, because these people have a spiritual base. God is alive and well in Iowa.
Well, I don't know where we are on time, but we good?
We're a little over.
We're a little over? Oh, well, I'll wrap this up then. All right, well, I will stop talking, and Dr. Ford, I will let you close us out with some final thoughts and give us your thing, and then we'll go ahead on and close it out.
Well, hey, man, I'm 70 years old. Nobody lives forever. So the bottom line is this, y'all. I remember when older people were 70 and I was y'all age. Some people mean well, but the word I want you all to never get caught up with, don't ever get caught up with the word good intention. Good intention don't mean nothing. In the end, good intention don't mean a D thing. And I said D, today is Sunday. So the bottom line is this. If you end this, and when you come to politics is pretty ruthless. I put some P's in it. Prostitution, politics, and the other word I can't say I can't say that other word. Stay with me. I'm just giving it to you real. Yeah. But if you can keep it real, and you can be serious, and y'all can hold people accountable the way society has held me accountable, or good situations, about Kanye pretty quickly, whether you believe him or not, he's been held accountable. But everybody else said, hold everybody else accountable. So you all must hold everybody accountable. We got public safety issues right now. We got homeless all downtown in Des Moines. We got shootings everywhere. We got bomb threats. Stay with me. This ain't Southeast Washington, D.C. or the West Side or Chicago. This ain't where I come from. My street I lived on in Washington, D.C., 22nd Street, is rated the most dangerous street in Washington, D.C. I grew up on that street. Now, Iowans, if you want to have that kind of drama come to the great state of Iowa, you ain't seen nothing yet. So when it comes to public safety, anybody who sits in these chairs, anybody who come, y'all got children and grandchildren. You ask all these elected officials, all that is good, all that is good. But what you gonna do about public safety? If they got no answers, don't you bring them back up there again. Whoever's in office got to deal with public safety. I did it. I went to 6th Avenue, rated the most dangerous corner in the city of Des Moines in the 80s. And I took my pistol legally and I started Urban Dreams. Because I'm from that neighborhood. Everybody carry a gun where I'm from. So I took care of business. Urban Dream is still open. Rated one of the best nonprofits in the state of Iowa. So if you want to get into this change agent game, everybody think they can do it. This ain't that easy. Only a few of us can survive 4 or 5 decades. I give it to God. I pass the baton off to y'all too. But don't let y'all, that Chicago and DC and LA drama, don't get that stuff. Y'all got to get out here and do some outreach and make sure, because it's not black or white. But once that drama is here, you got it every day. DC and Chicago, killings every day. I don't want that here. And my legacy speak on that. Urban Dream is still around. I give it all to you all. Thank you all for the opportunity. And you see, I got my celebration on because it's a celebration. Because I made it to be 70 and I'm happy to be here to make a difference. To still make a difference being 70 years old, I'm a bad man. Thank you, Jesus, and thank y'all.
Well, thank you. You know what? There's not too much more to say after that, Rob. We're going to leave it there. You have heard it from Dr. Wayne Ford being here on the Urban Impact Show. This will not be his last time, I'm sure, because things keep happening within our city and our state that need to be talked about. So we're going to end it there. We will join you next week where we will have some guests. We have those confirmed. I'm not going to say anything about next week's show yet.
We have some of them confirmed already.
Okay, we do have
Get
some.
ready
Okay.
for a stylist and barber end of the year blowout is what we're going to be doing. We wanted to promote our black stylists, beauticians, and our barbers in Des Moines, and we wanted to bring them on for just a end of the year blowout.
So we're looking forward to that. Make sure you check out our Urban Impact Show's Facebook page where we are counting on you to share what you think our new logo should be.
Yes.
So that is up on our page now. Go to the page, check it out. Just tell us which number you think it is. The most votes, we're going to let you choose our logo. We're not going to do that. So we're all still working through that. But we're going to let you pick our new logo for next year because next year we are coming back with a bigger, better, just a lot of things happening with Urban Impact Show. We might talk about that a little bit next week too. So enjoy y'all's week. Everybody love on someone, and we will see you next week on the Urban Impact Show.